Mythical Adventures, Journey to the Land of Legends. In a small village, there lived a young girl named Lila. Lila was very curious. She loved to hear stories about dragons, fairies, and magical creatures. One night, she heard a special story from her grandmother. It was about a hidden land called the Land of Legends. This land was full of wonders and secrets. Lila decided she wanted to go on an adventure to find this magical place. The next morning, Lila packed her bag. She took some food, a map, and her favorite book about legends. Lila said goodbye to her family and started her journey. As she walked through the forest, she saw many beautiful trees and heard the singing of birds. The sun was shining brightly, and Lila felt happy. After walking for a long time, Lila met a friendly rabbit. The rabbit had big ears and a fluffy tail. "Hello, Lila," said the rabbit. "Where are you going?" Lila replied, "I am going to the Land of Legends." The rabbit's eyes went wide. "I can show you the way," it said. Lila was excited. She followed the rabbit deeper into the forest. They walked together and soon reached a sparkling river. The water was very clear, and Lila could see fish swimming. "We need to cross this river," said the rabbit. Lila thought for a moment. Then she saw some big stones in the water. "We can jump on the stones," she said. The rabbit nodded, and they carefully jumped from stone to stone. Finally, they made it to the other side. Once they crossed the river, they found a glowing flower. It was bright blue and looked magical. The rabbit said, "This is a wishing flower. If you make a wish, it might come true." Lila thought hard. She closed her eyes and wished, "I wish to see the legends of the land." When she opened her eyes, the flower glowed even brighter. Suddenly, a fairy appeared. She was small and had sparkling wings. "Hello, Lila. I am Faye, the fairy of the Land of Legends," she said. Lila was amazed. "Can you take me to the Land of Legends?" she asked. Faye smiled. "Yes, but you must be brave and kind." Faye waved her wand, and a magical light surrounded Lila and the rabbit. In a flash, they were in the Land of Legends. The land was colorful, with giant trees and twinkling stars. Lila saw dragons flying in the sky and fairies dancing around. It was more beautiful than she imagined. Lila, the rabbit, and Faye walked through the land. They met a friendly giant named Grom. Grom was very tall, but he had a gentle smile. "Welcome to my home," he said. Grom showed them his garden filled with giant vegetables. They all sat down to eat a delicious meal together. Lila felt very happy and grateful. After the meal, Faye said, "Now it is time to meet the legendary creatures." They went to a mountain where the greatest dragon lived. The dragon was huge and had shiny, green scales. Lila was a little scared, but Faye said, "Don't worry, he is friendly." The dragon introduced himself. "I am Draco, the guardian of the Land of Legends. Thank you for visiting." Lila was amazed. She asked Draco many questions about his life. He told her stories of bravery and friendship. Lila listened carefully and learned a lot. As the sun began to set, Lila felt it was time to go home. She thanked Faye, Grom, and Draco for their kindness. They all waved goodbye as Faye flew Lila and the rabbit back to their village. When Lila returned home, she was full of joy. She told her family about her adventure in the Land of Legends. They listened with wide eyes. Lila learned that bravery and kindness could lead to the most wonderful adventures. From that day on, Lila kept dreaming about her next journey. She believed that every adventure had something special to teach. And who knows, maybe one day she would return to the Land of Legends again. Mythical Adventures, Journey to the Land of Legends. In a small village, there lived a boy named Tom. He was very curious and loved to explore. One day, he found an old map in his grandmother's attic. The map showed a path to a magical place called the Land of Legends. Tom was excited and decided to go on an adventure. Tom packed his backpack with some food, a water bottle, and a flashlight. Early in the morning, he said goodbye to his family and started his journey. The first part of the path went through a forest. The trees were tall, and the birds sang sweetly. Tom felt happy and free. As he walked, he met a friendly rabbit. The rabbit had big ears and a fluffy tail. "Where are you going?" asked the rabbit. "I'm going to the Land of Legends," Tom replied. The rabbit's eyes sparkled with excitement. "I can help you. Follow me." Tom followed the rabbit, and they came to a river. The river was wide and the water was very clear. "How do we cross?" asked Tom. The rabbit smiled. "We can use the magical stones." It pointed to some glowing stones in the water. Tom stepped on the stones, jumping from one to another. He felt like a hero. On the other side of the river, the rabbit said, "We are almost there. But beware of the dragon." Tom was surprised. "A dragon?" "What does it look like?" the rabbit replied. "It is huge with bright scales. But don't worry, it is not evil. It just likes to sleep." They continued walking until they reached a mountain. The mountain was steep and rocky. "We must climb it to find the land of legends," said the rabbit. Tom was tired but determined. He started to climb. He used his hands and feet to hold onto the rocks. Finally, Tom and the rabbit reached the top. When they looked down, they saw a beautiful valley. It was filled with flowers, rainbows, and mystical creatures. "This is the land of legends," shouted the rabbit. Tom's heart was filled with joy. In the valley, they saw a unicorn with a shiny horn. It came closer and said, "Welcome, brave traveler. You have found the land of legends." Tom was amazed. "Thank you. I wanted to see magic and adventure." The unicorn smiled. "You have a kind heart, Tom. Would you like to meet more magical creatures?" Tom nodded eagerly. The unicorn led them to a fairy who was making sparkling dust. "Hello, little boy," said the fairy. "Would you like to dance with the stars?" Tom was so happy. He danced with the fairy under the sky filled with twinkling stars. They laughed and played until the moon rose high. After a while, the unicorn said, "It is time for you to return home." Tom felt a little sad. "But I want to stay longer," the unicorn replied. "You can always visit again. Just follow the path from your dreams." Tom thanked the unicorn and the fairy. He and the rabbit began their journey back. They climbed down a mountain, crossed the river again, and walked through the forest. Tom felt tired but very happy. When he reached his village, the sun was setting. He ran home and told his family all about his adventure. They listened with wonder. Tom showed them the map and the things he found in the land of legends. From that day, Tom dreamed of more adventures. He knew that the land of legends was always waiting for him. With every dream, he would explore new places, meet new friends, and create more magical stories. Tom realized that the real magic was not just in the land of legends, but also in his heart. He had the courage to explore and the kindness to make friends, and that was the best adventure of all. The end. Mythical Adventures, Journey to the Land of Legends. Introduction. In a world full of magic and mystery, there are stories about heroes, gods, and monsters. These are called myths. Myths come from many cultures and tell us about important ideas, beliefs, and values. Join me on a journey to explore these amazing adventures. Chapter 1. The Great Hero, Hercules. Hercules is one of the most famous heroes in mythology. He is known for his strength and bravery. One day, Hercules had to complete 12 tasks to prove that he was a true hero. These tasks were very difficult, and they included fighting a lion, capturing a wild boar, and cleaning stables in one day. Hercules fought the Nemean lion, a huge and fierce beast. Instead of using a sword, he used his bare hands. He was very strong and finally defeated the lion. After that, he wore the lion's skin as a cloak. Chapter 2. The Clever Odysseus. Odysseus is another well-known hero from Greek mythology. He was not only strong but also very smart. His most famous adventure is in the story called the Odyssey. After the War of Troy, Odysseus wanted to go home, but his journey was long and full of challenges. He faced many monsters, like the Cyclops. The Cyclops had only one eye and was very dangerous. Odysseus used his cleverness to escape. He told the Cyclops that his name was Nobody. When Odysseus blinded the Cyclops, he shouted for help. The other Cyclopes asked who hurt him, and he replied, "Nobody." This way, Odysseus and his men could escape. Chapter 3. The Beautiful Goddess, Athena. In mythology, there are also many goddesses. One of the most beautiful is Athena, the goddess of wisdom and war. Athena was not only strong but also very wise. She helped heroes like Odysseus and gave him advice during his journey. Athena was born from the head of her father, Zeus, the king of the gods. She is often seen with an owl, which symbolizes wisdom. Many cities built temples for Athena, and one of the most famous is the Parthenon in Athens. Chapter 4. The Terrifying Minotaur. Not all creatures in mythology are friendly. The Minotaur is a half-man, half-bull monster. He lived in a big maze called the Labyrinth. Many heroes tried to defeat the Minotaur, but most could not find their way out. Theseus, a brave hero, decided to confront the Minotaur. With the help of Ariadne, who gave him a ball of thread, he was able to find his way in and out of the labyrinth. After defeating the Minotaur, Theseus became a symbol of courage and skill. Chapter 5. The Mysterious Sirens. In many myths, there are strange creatures called the sirens. Sirens are beautiful women who sing songs that make sailors forget everything. Many sailors sailed close to hear their beautiful voices, but this was dangerous. The sirens would lead them to crash on the rocks. Odysseus knew about the sirens. To protect himself and his crew, he ordered his men to put beeswax in their ears. He wanted to hear the sirens, so he had himself tied to the ship's mast. As they sailed, he listened to the beautiful songs but could not swim to them because he was tied up. Chapter 6. The Amazing Phoenix. The phoenix is a magical bird in many myths. It is known for its beautiful feathers and its ability to rise from the ashes. When the phoenix becomes old and tired, it builds a nest and sets it on fire. From the ashes, a new phoenix is born. The phoenix is a symbol of rebirth and renewal. It teaches us that even when things seem over, there is always a chance for a new beginning. This is an important idea in many cultures. Chapter 7. The Courageous Achilles. Achilles is another great hero from Greek mythology. He was known for his strength and bravery in battle. However, he had one weak point, his heel. This weakness caused his downfall in the Trojan War. His mother, Thetis, dipped him in the river Styx to make him invincible, but she held him by his heel, so that part did not get wet. During the war, an enemy shot an arrow at his heel, which led to his death. The expression Achilles' heel means a weakness. Chapter 8. The Brave Beowulf. Beowulf is a famous hero from Anglo-Saxon mythology. He fought the monster Grendel and saved the kingdom of the Danes. Beowulf was very brave and believed in fighting for what is right. After defeating Grendel, Beowulf had to fight Grendel's mother, who was also very angry. He used a special sword to defeat her in her underwater lair. Beowulf became a legend for his bravery and loyalty. Chapter 9. The Enchanted Unicorn. The unicorn is a magical creature often found in myths. It looks like a horse with a beautiful horn on its forehead. Unicorns symbolize purity and grace. They are often seen in forests or meadows. In many stories, if someone finds a unicorn, they can gain its magical powers. But unicorns are very shy and never show themselves to everyone. They only appear to those who are pure of heart. Chapter 10. The Powerful Dragon. Dragons are famous creatures in most myths. They are often seen as monsters that guard treasure or cause trouble for heroes. However, some myths tell stories of friendly dragons that help people. The Chinese dragon is a symbol of strength and good luck. In many stories, dragons can fly and breathe fire. They are wise creatures and often play important roles in the stories of heroes. Conclusion. Myths are fascinating stories that teach us lessons about life, bravery, and wisdom. Every culture has its unique myths, filled with heroes, gods, and magical creatures. These stories inspire us and help us understand our own lives better. As we journey through the land of legends, we can learn from the challenges and triumphs of these mythical characters. Their adventures remind us that we can all be heroes in our own stories. The Brave Little Hero. In a small village, there was a young boy named Leo. He was not very big, but he had a big heart. Everyone in the village loved Leo because he was kind and always helped others. One sunny day, a great problem appeared. A giant came to the village. He was tall and scary. The giant wanted all the food from the village. The people were very afraid and did not know what to do. They talked about running away, but Leo said, "I will help you." The villagers laughed at Leo. "You're just a small boy. How can you fight a giant?" But Leo felt strong inside. He knew he had to try. Leo went to the forest to find a way to stop the giant. In the forest, he met a wise old owl. The owl said, "You must be brave and find the magic stone at the top of the mountain. It will give you power." Leo thanked the owl and ran to the mountain. The mountain was very high and steep, but Leo was determined. He climbed and climbed until he reached the top. There, he found the magic stone. It was bright and shining. He picked it up and felt a warm light around him. He was ready to face the giant. Leo ran back to the village. The giant was there, taking all the food. Leo stood tall and shouted, "Stop! You cannot take our food." The giant laughed. "And who will stop me? You're just a small boy." But Leo held the magic stone high. It glowed brightly. The giant looked surprised. Leo said, "I am brave, and I will not let you hurt my village." With the power of the stone, Leo felt strong and fearless. The giant, seeing the light, started to shake. "What is this magic?" he asked. "I am not afraid of you." Leo answered, "You must leave our village. We need our food." The giant felt the power of the stone and got scared. He said, "Okay, I will leave, but promise me you will never forget me." Leo thought for a moment and said, "I will never forget you, but you must be kind." The giant nodded and ran away from the village. Leo put the magic stone back on the mountain. He did not need it anymore. He was strong enough by himself. The villagers cheered for Leo. They were very proud of him. "You are a true hero," they said. Leo smiled and replied, "I just did what was right. We must always be brave." From that day, Leo became a legend in the village. People told stories about the brave little hero who saved them from the giant, and Leo always reminded them that anyone can be a hero, no matter how small they are. And so, Leo lived happily in the village, always ready to help others. He knew that true strength comes from within, and kindness is the greatest power of all. Mythical Adventures, Journey to the Land of Legends. Chapter 1, The Mysterious Map. In a small village, there lived a young girl named Mia. Mia was always curious about the world beyond her home. One day, while exploring her grandmother's attic, she found a mysterious map. The map had strange symbols and showed a path to a place called the Land of Legends. Mia's eyes sparkled with excitement. She wanted to go on an adventure. She quickly packed her bag with her favorite snacks, a water bottle, and a flashlight. Before leaving, she kissed her grandmother goodbye and promised to return with amazing stories. Chapter 2, The Journey Begins. Mia followed the map through a dark forest. The trees were tall, and the sounds of birds filled the air. Suddenly, she heard a soft voice. "Hello, little girl, where are you going?" Mia turned around and saw a small, friendly fairy with glowing wings. "I'm going to the Land of Legends," Mia said excitedly. The fairy smiled. "I can help you. Follow me." The fairy flew above Mia, leading her through the thick trees. Chapter 3, The River of Dreams. After walking for hours, Mia and the fairy arrived at a sparkling river. The water was crystal clear and shimmered like diamonds. "This is the River of Dreams," said the fairy. "Many legends were born here." Mia took a sip of the cool water. Suddenly, she saw visions of brave knights, wise wizards, and magical creatures. "Wow, this is wonderful," she exclaimed. "Remember," the fairy said, "your journey is just beginning." Chapter 4, The Mountain of Giants. Mia and the fairy continued their adventure, and soon found themselves at the foot of a giant mountain. "This is the Mountain of Giants," said the fairy. "Be careful. The giants are friendly but can be tricky." Mia looked up and saw a huge giant sitting on a rock. "Hello, little girl. What do you want?" he asked in a deep voice. "I want to reach the Land of Legends," Mia replied bravely. The giant laughed. "You must answer my riddle first." Mia listened carefully as the giant said, "I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with wind. What am I?" Mia thought hard. "An echo," she shouted. "Correct," said the giant, smiling. "You may pass." Chapter 5, The Secret Garden. Finally, Mia and the fairy reached a beautiful garden filled with colorful flowers and singing birds. In the center of the garden, there was a golden tree. The fairy said, "This tree grants wishes. Make your wish wisely." Mia closed her eyes and thought about her family and friends. "I wish for everyone to be happy," she whispered. The golden tree shimmered, and a warm light surrounded Mia. "Your wish is pure, and it will come true," the fairy said. Chapter 6, The Land of Legends. After the garden, Mia followed the map to the Land of Legends. It was more beautiful than she had imagined. There were unicorns, dragons, and magical creatures everywhere. Mia felt like she was in a dream. She saw a group of kids playing with a dragon. They laughed and invited her to join. Mia spent a day exploring, playing games, and making new friends. Chapter 7, Home Again. As the sun began to set, Mia knew it was time to go home. She said goodbye to her new friends and thanked the fairy for her help. "You are brave and kind, Mia," the fairy said. "You will always have a place in the Land of Legends." Mia returned to her village with a heart full of joy and stories to tell. She shared her adventure with her grandmother, who listened with wide eyes. From that day on, Mia knew that adventures await those who are brave enough to seek them, and every time she looked at the mysterious map, she smiled, remembering her journey to the Land of Legends. Mythical Adventures, Journey to the Land of Legends. Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived a young girl named Lila. She was curious and loved to hear stories about mythical creatures. One sunny morning, she heard a story about the Land of Legends. This land was full of magic and fantastic beings like dragons, fairies, and talking animals. Lila wanted to see the Land of Legends, so she packed a small bag with her favorite book, some food, and her special compass. The compass would help her find her way. With a big smile, Lila said goodbye to her family and started her journey. As she walked, Lila saw many beautiful things. She saw tall trees and colorful flowers. After walking for a long time, Lila found a river. The water was sparkling under the sun. She decided to rest here. While resting, Lila heard a strange sound. It was a soft voice singing. Who is singing? Lila wondered. She followed the sound and found a tiny fairy sitting on a rock. The fairy had sparkling wings and a friendly smile. "Hello, I am Pixie," said the fairy. "I can help you to the land of legends." Lila was very excited. "Please, I want to go there," she replied. Pixie waved her wand. Suddenly, a path appeared along the river. "Follow me," she said. They walked together, chatting about dreams and adventures. Lila learned that Pixie could make flowers bloom with a wave of her wand. Lila thought Pixie was very special. After a while, they came to a bridge made of golden leaves. "We must cross this bridge," Pixie said. Lila took a deep breath and walked carefully. The bridge was magical. As they crossed, the leaves sparkled like stars. On the other side of the bridge, Lila saw a huge castle. It was made of crystals and shined brightly. "This is the castle of the King of Legends," Pixie explained. They entered the castle, and Lila was amazed. Inside, there were mythical creatures everywhere. There were unicorns with shiny coats, and dragons with colorful scales. Lila was in awe. Suddenly, the king appeared. He was tall and had a long, beautiful beard. "Welcome, Lila," he said in a strong voice. "I know why you are here." Lila was surprised. "You do?" she asked. "Yes, I want to show you something very special," the king said. He took Lila and Pixie to a garden behind the castle. The garden was full of wonderful plants and flowers. In the center of the garden, there was a sparkling pond. "This pond gives you a wish," the king explained, "but use it wisely." Lila thought about her wish. She wanted to share this magical place with her family and friends. "I wish for everyone in my village to see the land of legends," she said. The king smiled. "A wonderful wish. It will come true." Suddenly, the pond glowed bright, and Lila felt a warm light around her. "Thank you," she said, feeling very happy. After the wish, the king said, "Now you must return home." Lila felt sad to leave, but she was excited to share her adventure with everyone. Pixie flew by her side as they walked back to the river. When they reached the river, Lila waved goodbye to Pixie. "Thank you for everything," she said. "You are always welcome here, Lila," Pixie replied. Lila started her journey back home. She felt full of joy and wonder. When she arrived at her village, she saw her family and friends waiting for her. "Lila, where have you been?" her mother asked. "I went to the land of legends," Lila explained. She told her family about the fairy, the king, and her wish. Everyone listened with big smiles. The next day, something amazing happened. All the villagers saw a glowing light in the sky. It was the magic of the land of legends coming to their village. Lila smiled, knowing her wish had come true. From that day on, Lila and her friends often visited the magical land, going on new adventures and meeting wonderful creatures. And every night, they would sit by the fire and share stories of their mythical adventures, dreaming of many more to come. The end. Mythical Adventures, Journey to the Land of Legends. Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived a boy named Leo. Leo loved stories about myths and legends. Every night, he listened to his grandmother tell exciting tales of dragons, fairies, and magical lands. One day, Leo found a mysterious map in the attic of his house. It was old and magical. The map showed a path to a place called the Land of Legends. Excited, Leo decided to follow the map. He packed some food and his favorite book about myths. He kissed his grandmother goodbye and started his adventure. The sun was shining brightly as he walked through the forest. Birds were singing, and the flowers smelled sweet. Leo felt happy and brave. After walking for a long time, Leo reached a river. The water was clear and sparkling. He needed to cross the river to continue his journey. Suddenly, a turtle appeared. "Hello, little boy," said the turtle. "Are you lost?" "No, I am on an adventure to the land of legends," Leo replied with a big smile. "I can help you cross the river," the turtle said. Leo was very grateful. The turtle turned into a magic bridge. Leo walked across the bridge and waved goodbye to the turtle. On the other side of the river, the land changed. There were colorful trees and beautiful flowers everywhere. Leo felt like he was in a dream. As he walked, he heard a soft voice. "Help me, please." Leo followed the voice and found a fairy trapped in a spider's web. She was small and had glittering wings. Leo quickly helped the fairy escape from the web. "Thank you, kind boy," said the fairy. "I am Alara, the fairy of the forest. Because you helped me, I will grant you a wish." Leo thought for a moment. "I wish to see all the mythical creatures in the land of legends." Alara waved her magic wand, and suddenly, the forest was filled with dragons, unicorns, and even a phoenix. They danced around Leo, and he felt like the happiest boy in the world. He played with the creatures for a long time. As the sun began to set, Alara told Leo, "You must continue your journey, but remember this place. You can come back whenever you want." Leo thanked Alara and continued walking. Soon, he saw a mountain in the distance. It was tall and mighty. Leo climbed the mountain, and at the top, he found a giant sitting on a rock. "Who are you?" asked the giant. "I am Leo, from the village. I am on an adventure," Leo replied. The giant smiled. "Welcome, little Leo. I am Grom, the giant of the mountain. Would you like to see something special?" "Yes, please," Leo said. Grom led Leo to a magic cave. Inside the cave were glowing jewels and beautiful paintings on the walls. Each painting told a story of the land of legends. "This cave is very special," Grom explained. "It tells the history of our land." Leo listened carefully as Grom shared stories of brave heroes and powerful creatures. He felt inspired by their courage. "I want to be brave like them," he said. After a while, Leo said goodbye to Grom and continued his journey. As night fell, Leo saw a bright light in the sky. It was a star that seemed to be calling him. He followed the light and found a magical garden. In the garden, he saw a beautiful woman with a crown of flowers. "Welcome, Leo. I am Luna, the queen of this garden," she said. "You have traveled far and met many friends. What is your wish?" "I wish to share the stories of the land of legends with everyone in my village," Leo replied. Luna smiled. "Your wish is wise. I will give you a special book. It will write all the stories you tell." Leo was overjoyed. He took the book and thanked Luna. "I promise to tell the tales of dragons, fairies, and brave heroes." With a heart full of happiness, Leo headed home. He followed the map back to his village. When he arrived, the sun was rising. His grandmother was waiting for him. "Where have you been, Leo?" she asked, looking worried. "I went on an adventure to the land of legends," Leo exclaimed. "I met a fairy, a giant, and a queen. They gave me a book of stories." His grandmother smiled. "That sounds amazing. Tell me everything." Leo sat with his grandmother and opened the book. As he spoke, the book glowed, and the stories came to life. The village was full of laughter and joy as everyone listened to Leo's adventures. From that day on, Leo became the best storyteller in the village. He shared his tales of myths and legends, inspiring others to be brave and believe in magic. And every night, when the stars shone bright, Leo remembered his friends from the land of legends. His adventure had changed him forever. He knew that every story had magic, and every adventure was waiting to be told. Leo smiled, dreaming of his next journey into the unknown. Mythical Adventures, Journey to the Land of Legends. In a small village, there lived a young girl named Lila. She was curious and loved to explore. One day, Lila found an old book in her attic. The book was about mythical creatures and hidden lands. Lila was excited and decided to go on an adventure to find the land of legends. Lila packed a small bag with food, water, and her favorite compass. She said goodbye to her family and began her journey. As she walked through the forest, she saw tall trees and heard birds singing. The sun was shining, and the day felt perfect for an adventure. After walking for a while, Lila came across a river. The water was clear and sparkled like diamonds. Lila needed to cross the river. Suddenly, she saw a frog sitting on a rock. The frog spoke. "Hello, Lila. I can help you cross the river." Lila was surprised but happy. She asked the frog how he could help. The frog said, "Just hop onto my back, and I will swim you across." Lila agreed and hopped onto the frog's back. The frog swam swiftly, and soon they were on the other side. Lila thanked the frog, and as a reward, she gave him some of her food. The frog smiled and said, "You are kind. Remember, kindness is important in the land of legends." After saying goodbye, Lila continued her journey. She walked for hours until she found a big mountain. It was very tall and covered in snow. Lila felt a little scared but remembered the frog's words about kindness. She decided to climb the mountain. It was hard, but she was determined. As Lila climbed, she met a giant. The giant was friendly and asked, "Why are you climbing my mountain?" Lila explained her adventure. The giant smiled and said, "I can help you reach the top. Climb on my shoulder." Lila was overjoyed and climbed up. The giant lifted her high, and they reached the top quickly. At the top of the mountain, Lila saw a beautiful view. She could see the land of legends far away. It was full of colorful flowers and magical creatures. Lila thanked the giant for his help. The giant replied, "Always follow your heart, Lila. It will guide you." Lila waved goodbye and started her journey down the mountain. As she walked, she felt excited to see the land of legends. Soon, she reached a magical gate. The gate was made of glittering stones and had strange symbols on it. Lila pushed the gate, and it opened with a soft sound. Inside, Lila saw amazing things. There were fairies flying and unicorns running. She gasped in amazement. A fairy flew to her and said, "Welcome to the land of legends, Lila. We have been waiting for you." Lila felt special and asked, "Why were you waiting for me?" The fairy replied, "You have a pure heart. We need your help to save our land. An evil sorcerer is trying to take our magic." Lila was shocked but brave. She wanted to help the fairies in their land. The fairy explained, "We need to find 3 magical stones. They are hidden in different places. With these stones, we can stop the sorcerer." Lila agreed to help and asked where to find the stones. The first stone was in the enchanted forest. Lila and the fairy flew together to the forest. The trees were tall, and the flowers were bright. They searched everywhere until they found the first stone under a big tree. It glowed with a warm light. Lila picked it up with joy. The second stone was in a cave. Lila and the fairy went to the dark cave. Inside, they saw glowing crystals on the walls. They found the second stone on a rock next to a sleeping dragon. Lila tiptoed carefully and grabbed the stone without waking the dragon. The last stone was at the top of a waterfall. Lila and the fairy climbed up the slippery rocks. When they reached the top, they saw the beautiful waterfall. The last stone sparkled in the sunlight. Lila picked it up, feeling proud of her adventure. With all 3 stones, Lila and the fairy returned to the magical gate. The fairies gathered around them. Lila placed the stones together, and they shone bright. Suddenly, the evil sorcerer appeared. He looked angry and tried to take the stones. Lila stood strong and said, "We will protect our land." With the power of the stones, Lila and the fairies created a bright light that surrounded the sorcerer. He screamed and disappeared into the darkness. The land of legends was safe again. The fairies cheered and praised Lila for her bravery and kindness. They held a big party to celebrate. Lila danced and laughed with her new friends. She felt happy and loved. As the sun began to set, Lila knew it was time to go home. The fairy gave her a necklace made of magic. "This will help you remember your adventure," the fairy said. Lila thanked her friends and promised to return someday. Lila walked back through the magical gate, feeling grateful for her adventure. She returned to her village, where her family was waiting for her. Lila shared her story, and everyone listened with wide eyes. From that day on, Lila knew that kindness, bravery, and love could create magic. She would always cherish her adventure to the land of legends and the friends she made there. Lila smiled, knowing that more adventures awaited her in the future. Mythical Adventures, Journey to the Land of Legends. In a small village, there lived a young boy named Ethan. Ethan loved stories about myths and legends. Every night, he would listen to his grandmother's tales about magical places, dragons, and brave heroes. One evening, she told him about a special land called the Land of Legends. This land was full of wonders and exciting adventures. Ethan was very curious. He wanted to see this magical land. After dinner, he decided to explore the nearby forest. He believed the forest might take him to the Land of Legends. With a small backpack, he put in some food, a map, and his favorite toy, a little wooden sword. As Ethan walked into the forest, he felt a cool breeze on his face. The trees were tall and the leaves whispered secrets. After walking for a while, he met a talking squirrel named Luna. Luna had big, bright eyes and a fluffy tail. "Hello, Ethan. Where are you going?" she asked. "I am going to the Land of Legends," Ethan replied excitedly. Luna's eyes widened. "Oh, I have heard of that place. I can help you get there," she said with a smile. Ethan was thrilled. He followed Luna deeper into the forest. They passed by beautiful flowers and sparkling streams. Suddenly, they arrived at a sparkling river. "This river is magical. We need to cross it," Luna said. Ethan looked at the river. It was wide and the water was shining like diamonds. "How do we cross?" he asked. "Just believe in yourself, and you will find a way," Luna encouraged him. Ethan took a deep breath and jumped. To his surprise, he landed safely on the other side. He felt happy and proud. After crossing the river, they saw a castle in the distance. It looked old but beautiful. "That's the castle of the Queen of Legends," Luna explained. "She knows everything about this land." They hurried to the castle and knocked on the big doors. The doors opened slowly, and they entered the grand hall. The queen was sitting on her throne, wearing a sparkling crown. "Welcome, brave traveler," she said to Ethan. "What brings you here?" "I want to have an adventure and learn about the legends," Ethan replied. The queen smiled. You will have an adventure, but first, you must complete a task. You need to find the crystal of courage hidden in the Cave of Shadows. It will give you the strength to become a true hero. Ethan nodded confidently. I will find it. With Luna by his side, Ethan set off to the Cave of Shadows. As they walked, the forest became darker and scarier. Strange sounds echoed around them, but Ethan remembered the queen's words and felt brave. When they reached the cave, it was dark inside. We need to find the crystal quickly, Luna said, looking worried. They lit a small torch and walked into the cave. Inside, they saw glowing rocks and strange shapes. Suddenly, they heard a loud roar. A huge dragon appeared, blocking their way. It had shiny scales and fierce eyes. Ethan felt scared but remembered his wooden sword. I am not afraid of you, he shouted. The dragon looked surprised. You are brave, young boy, but to pass, you must solve a riddle, it said. Ethan listened carefully. The dragon asked, what has keys but can't open locks? Ethan thought hard. He remembered his grandmother's stories and said, a piano. The dragon smiled and stepped aside. You are correct. You may pass. Ethan and Luna continued deeper into the cave. Finally, they found the crystal of courage shining on a pedestal. Ethan picked it up, and he felt a warm glow inside him. I can be a hero now, he said happily. They left the cave and returned to the queen's castle. You have completed your task, the queen said proudly. Now, you have the courage of a true hero. What will you do next? Ethan thought for a moment. I want to help people. I want to share my adventures and stories with my village, he replied. Then go back home and tell everyone about your journey, the queen said, handing him a small book. This book has all the legends of this land. Share it with your village, and they will be inspired by your tales. Ethan thanked the queen and Luna. With a heart full of excitement, he returned to his village. He couldn't wait to share his amazing adventure. That night, he gathered all the villagers and began to tell them the stories from the land of legends. Everyone listened with wide eyes. From that day on, Ethan became a hero in his village, inspiring others with his magical tales. He learned that courage, friendship, and imagination can create the greatest adventures of all. And so, the stories of Ethan and the land of legends spread far and wide, reminding everyone that within them lies the power to create their own myths and legends. The end. Mythical Adventures, Journey to the Land of Legends. Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived a young girl named Lily. She was a brave girl with a big heart. Every day, she dreamed of going on adventures. One sunny morning, Lily found an old map in her attic. The map showed a path to the land of legends. This land was full of magical creatures and treasures. Lily decided to follow the map. She packed her small bag with food, water, and her favorite book about myths. She waved goodbye to her parents and began her journey. The path was long and winding. Soon, she saw a forest. The trees were tall, and the leaves whispered secrets. As she walked through the forest, Lily met a talking rabbit named Benny. Benny wore a tiny hat and a waistcoat. Hello, Lily, he said cheerfully. Are you going to the land of legends? Lily nodded and smiled. Benny offered to guide her. I know the way, he exclaimed. Together, they walked deeper into the forest. Suddenly, they heard a loud roar. What was that? Asked Lily, feeling a bit scared. Benny looked brave. Don't worry, it is just the dragon of dreams. He is friendly but can be a little loud. They continued walking and soon reached a river. The river sparkled in the sunlight, but there was a problem. How do we cross? Wondered Lily. Benny thought hard. We can ask the Turtle Queen for help. They searched for the Turtle Queen and found her resting on a big rock. Hello, Turtle Queen, Lily called out. Can you help us cross the river? The Turtle Queen smiled kindly. Of course. Climb on my back, and I will take you across. Lily and Benny climbed on, and soon they were safely on the other side. Thank you, said Lily, feeling happy and grateful. After crossing the river, they entered a magical meadow filled with colorful flowers and singing birds. Suddenly, they saw a beautiful castle in the distance. That must be the castle of the Fairy Queen, said Benny. They rushed toward it, excited to meet her. When they reached the castle, they were welcomed by the Fairy Queen, who had shimmering wings. Welcome, brave adventurers, she said. What brings you here? Lily explained her journey and told her about the map. The Fairy Queen listened carefully. You have a brave heart, she said. I want to give you a special gift. She waved her wand, and a crystal appeared. This crystal will guide you and protect you on your journey. Lily thanked the Fairy Queen and held the crystal tightly. I will use it wisely, she promised. With Benny by her side, they continued their adventure. Their next stop was the Mountain of Echoes. The mountain was tall and steep. "We have to climb," said Benny. They climbed for a long time. Finally, they reached the top. From there, they could see the land of legends. It was even more beautiful than they imagined. Fields of gold, sparkling lakes, and creatures of every kind. Lily and Benny hurried down the mountain. As they entered the land of legends, they met a unicorn with a shining horn. "Hello, friends," the unicorn said. "Welcome to my land." Lily could hardly believe her eyes. "You're so beautiful," she exclaimed. The unicorn offered to take them on a ride. Lily climbed on the unicorn's back, feeling the wind in her hair. Benny hopped up behind her, cheering. They raced across fields and danced under the stars. It was the happiest time of their lives. After the ride, they visited a village made of candy. The villagers were all kind and offered them sweets. "This is the best place ever," Lily said, smiling widely. But soon, they knew they had to go back home. With the sunset, Lily felt a little sad. "I don't want to leave," she said. The unicorn and Benny understood. "You will always carry the magic in your heart," the unicorn said wisely, "and you can return anytime in your dreams." Lily hugged her new friends and thanked them for the amazing adventure. She used the crystal to find her way back. As they traveled home, she felt happy and excited. She would tell everyone about her adventure in the land of legends. When Lily finally returned to her village, her parents were waiting. "Where have you been?" they asked with wide eyes. Lily shared her story, and they listened in awe. From that day on, Lily kept the crystal close. It was a reminder of her mythical adventure. As she lay in bed that night, she smiled, thinking about Benny, the fairy queen, and the unicorn. She closed her eyes and imagined all the magic, knowing that her heart would always be a part of the land of legends. And so, Lily's journey became a legend of its own, inspiring others to follow their dreams and seek their own adventures. Believe in magic, and it will find you. Mythical Adventures, Journey to the Land of Legends. In a small town, there lived a brave girl named Lily. She loved stories about heroes and myths. One day, while exploring the forest, she found a magical book. The book was glowing and had many pictures of mythical creatures. Lily felt excited and curious. She opened the book and read a special spell. Suddenly, a bright light appeared. It was a fairy named Tinker. She had beautiful wings and a kind smile. "Hello, Lily. You have opened the gateway to the land of legends," Tinker said. Lily's eyes sparkled with wonder. "Can I go there?" she asked eagerly. "Yes, but you must help us," Tinker replied. "The land is in danger. An evil wizard named Zana wants to take over the kingdom." Lily nodded, ready for an adventure. With a wave of Tinker's wand, they were transported to the land of legends. The sky was bright blue, and the trees were tall and green. They saw castles, rivers, and many magical creatures. There were unicorns, dragons, and even talking animals. Lily felt thrilled. "Where do we go first?" she asked Tinker. "We must find the Crystal of Light," Tinker answered. "It can defeat Zana." They began their journey through the forest, meeting many friends along the way. First, they met a talking lion named Leo. He was brave and strong. "I will help you find the crystal," Leo said. Together, they walked further until they reached a great mountain. "The crystal is at the top," Tinker explained. Climbing the mountain was hard, but they encouraged each other. Finally, they reached the peak. There, they saw the Crystal of Light shining brightly. But Zana was there. He was tall and dark, with a scary staff. "You cannot take the crystal," he shouted. Lily felt scared but remembered her courage. "We must work together," she told her friends. Leo roared loudly, and Tinker used her magic to create a shield. Lily grabbed the crystal and held it high. The light from the crystal was so strong that it made Zana weak. "You cannot defeat me," Zana screamed, but the power of the crystal was too great. With one last flash of light, Zana disappeared into the shadows. The land was safe. All the creatures cheered for Lily, Leo, and Tinker. "You're the true hero," they said. Lily felt happy and proud. After the celebration, Tinker said, "It is time for you to return home, Lily." "Will I come back?" Lily asked sadly. "Yes, whenever you want," Tinker replied. With a wave of the wand, Lily found herself back in her forest. The magical book was still in her hands. She smiled, knowing she had many more adventures waiting for her. From that day on, Lily shared her stories with everyone in her town. She inspired many to believe in magic and friendship. And sometimes, at night, she looked up at the stars and remembered her journey to the land of legends. Every adventure begins with a dream. Lily's heart was filled with hope and excitement for the next adventure. The end. Mythical Adventures, Journey to the Land of Legends. Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived a young girl named Lila. She had big brown eyes and long black hair. Lila loved to listen to stories about myths and legends. Every night, her grandmother told her tales of brave heroes and magical creatures. One day, Lila found an old book in the attic. The book was covered in dust and had a shiny golden key on the cover. Curious, Lila opened the book. Suddenly, a bright light filled the room. When the light disappeared, Lila found herself in a magical forest. The trees were tall and sparkled with glowing leaves. Lila was excited but also a little scared. She heard a voice calling her name. Lila, Lila. Lila followed the voice and met a small fairy named Fina. Fina had colorful wings and a kind smile. "Welcome to the land of legends," said Fina. "You are here to help us save our world." Lila was surprised. "How can I help?" she asked. Fina explained that a dark wizard named Zarek had stolen the crystal of light. This crystal made the forest bright and beautiful. Without it, the land of legends would become dark and sad. Lila wanted to help, so she agreed to go on a journey to find the crystal. Fina gave Lila a map of the forest. "You must visit 3 places," Fina said. "The Cave of Echoes, the Mountain of Whispers, and the River of Dreams. Each place has a clue to find the crystal of light." With the map in her hand, Lila started her adventure. The first stop was the Cave of Echoes. It was dark and quiet inside. Lila felt a little scared, but she remembered her grandmother's stories. She walked carefully and listened to the echoes. Suddenly, she heard a voice. "To find the light, you must be brave. Tell me your greatest fear." Lila thought for a moment. "My greatest fear is being alone." The cave answered, "You are never alone. You have friends in your heart." With those words, a shimmering stone appeared. This stone was the first clue. Lila took it and thanked the cave. Next, Lila climbed to the Mountain of Whispers. The wind was strong, but she kept going. At the top, she met a wise owl sitting on a rock. "What do you seek, young adventurer?" asked the owl. "I seek the crystal of light," replied Lila. The owl hooted. "To find it, you must answer this riddle. What can you keep after giving it to someone?" Lila thought hard. Then she smiled. "It's my word." The owl nodded, and a beam of light appeared, showing her the second clue, a feather that glowed brightly. Lila thanked the owl and carefully took the feather. Finally, Lila reached the River of Dreams. The water sparkled and looked magical. She sat by the river, feeling tired but happy. Suddenly, a friendly dolphin jumped out of the water. "Hello, what brings you here?" asked the dolphin. Lila explained her quest. The dolphin smiled and said, "To find the crystal, you must believe in yourself." The river then gave Lila a shell that contained the last clue. With all 3 clues, Lila returned to Fina. They gathered at the center of the forest. The clues glowed together and formed a path to Zarek's castle. Lila felt a mix of fear and excitement. As they approached the castle, it was dark and quiet. Lila saw Zarek sitting on a throne, holding the crystal of light. "Who dares to enter my castle?" he roared. Lila took a deep breath. "I am Lila, and I am here to take back the light." Zarek laughed. "You think you can defeat me?" Lila felt nervous, but she remembered her clues and her friends. "I believe in myself," she shouted. The clues started to glow, and Lila used their power. Bright light filled the room, and Zarek stumbled back in surprise. The light was so bright that it surrounded Zarek. He felt a warmth and began to change. "What is this magic?" he whispered. "It is the magic of friendship and courage," Lila replied. Zarek slowly dropped the crystal of light. Lila quickly grabbed it. With the crystal back in her hands, the light spread throughout the castle, vanquishing the darkness. Zarek, now transformed, turned into a kind man. "I am sorry for my actions. I was lost in darkness," he said. Lila and Fina smiled. They returned to the magical forest, where the trees sparkled with life again. Lila felt happy and proud. She had faced her fears and helped save the land of legends. Fina hugged her. "You are a true hero, Lila." Lila returned to her village, holding the crystal of light. She had many stories to tell her friends and family. From that day on, she always believed in herself and the magic of courage. And every night, she would share her adventure with her grandmother, inspiring others to believe in their own mythical adventures. The end.